Theater kids, band kids, choir kids, we've all heard of them. You may not know a lot about them other than the fact that they could have very big personalities. I hope that you guys have gone to see some of the concerts and productions that they've put on because they put a lot of work and effort into that. And the reason I say that is because I am all three of those things. I feel like you can kind of just tell by the way I present myself, but if that wasn't obvious enough, there's that bit of information for you. The difference between me, though, and a lot of other band and choir and theater kids is that they actually have a budget. Despite me moving to a new school, we still don't really have a budget. Obviously more than I'm used to having, but sometimes it still feels like we're scrounging. Now for all you people that go to big schools and don't know what a low budget is, we don't have enough money to fix our instruments. We'd repaint walls from previous shows that have been there for like probably 20 years. And overall, we can't do anything really extravagant fine arts wise. And that's because my school loves to focus on the sports instead, which unfortunately a lot of schools can also relate to. So let's talk about the struggles of being a fine arts student in a school that only supports sports. Hi, my name is Nora, and welcome to Floor Talk, where it's the same as any other rant video except I'm on the floor. This is episode 2 of Floor Talk, which means this series is only just beginning. So if you would like to be an OG in this series, I suggest you subscribe to my channel. I'm not saying you have to, but that way you don't miss any more Floor Talks. Or maybe you don't care about my videos, and that's okay too, because it's just me ranting on for about 20 minutes. But I would really appreciate if you subscribe, but if not, that is okay. I still appreciate your views so much. So, let's get into it. The start of my fine arts road started in about the 5th grade when I joined band. My music teacher had me try out 2 instruments that I picked. I picked the flute and I picked the clarinet. The only sound that I was able to get out of one of the instruments was a clarinet, and that was a squeak, actually. I couldn't get a sound out of the flute, so I chose the clarinet to be my main instrument. And then I started band in the 5th grade. Now, if you watched my last video, you know I come from a very small school, so our band was like that big. I think maybe at the start of our 5th grade band there was about 3 clarinets, and then once we hit 7th grade I was the only one in my band. Not the only band member, the only clarinet in my band. I better rephrase that. And let's also say that despite my music teacher being a good person, she's a horrible teacher. I love you so much, but you only taught me 5 notes on my clarinet, and then I had to learn the rest all by myself. So I was mostly self-taught on the clarinet besides the 5 notes that I knew before I entered 7th grade. And let's just say I sucked. But that year, I also got to start playing pep band for the basketball games. Now, since my school is so small, we actually co-op with another small school that's only like 15 minutes away from us, and our basketball people like play together. And because they play together, our music departments also come together and play together at pep band. And there's a lot more clarinets over there, and they definitely had a better music program than we did. So once I heard these better clarinets playing these pep band songs, and I was just like struggling my way through them, I was like, dang, I kind of need to get better at this. And that's when my passion for music really started. So I was already determined to get better at playing my clarinet. And then second semester of 7th grade year, I joined choir. Now, I've always loved singing. It's always been one of my main hobbies. But choir seemed really intimidating to me for some reason, so I didn't join right away. A couple of my friends convinced me to join them in choir, so I did. And from there, my love for music grew even more. So now I was a band and a choir kid. I was doubling down. But obviously, my 8th grade year, if you watched my other video, I moved to a new school. And said new school is much, much bigger. And they actually had an even better music program. Although I don't really think it takes much to be better than my old music program anyways. But nonetheless, when I moved, I joined both band and choir my freshman year. And let me tell you, that first month was also very intimidating to me because everybody was better. See, my band back at my old school was kind of like, they were just kind of like playing the notes as best as they could. But when I moved, everything was so much louder and sounded so much better, and I was like, I didn't think high schoolers could sound like this with their instruments. This is insane. The same thing with choir. Like, people were actually singing. And it's not that the choir that I was in before wasn't singing, but they definitely didn't know what they were doing half the time. And from there, I think I just kind of flourished. I saw that I could actually become one of those band or choir kids, and I wanted to get to that point. So, my involvement in the fine arts is huge at this point. But now, here comes an opportunity that I never had at my old school. Well, I can't say that I never had, but the program that we had for it at my old school was even more horrible. I saw posters on the wall advertising for drama auditions, specifically Elf the Musical. Now, I had made a couple friends in choir that had talked about auditioning, and they were kind of influencing me to do it too, and it did sound interesting to me. Now, for a little backstory, it's not that my old school didn't have a drama program, it was just really bad. I was in one fall production, and after that, I decided I did not want to do it anymore because I had such a horrible time. But I figured it's a bigger school and they probably have a better program, so I'll join this. And so I did. I went to auditions and I kind of butchered them, but it's okay because I got ensemble. For people that go to bigger schools, it probably sounds weird saying that I just butchered my audition but got in anyways because a lot of people just don't get in when they audition at big schools. But the thing is that I still was in a relatively small school and there wasn't like a vast amount of people that auditioned for this musical. So they needed everyone that they could get. So I got ensemble. And let me tell you, I was stressed the first couple weeks of rehearsals because they were doing all this dance stuff and I didn't know what they were talking about and everybody was getting this choreography and I was struggling big time. But after about the first month, and once I really started to get into it and started getting the choreography and memorizing my stuff, and it was really fun. So now I'm a theater kid too. I am tripling down actually. And 2 years later, I'm still doing 2 of the 3 activities. I couldn't fit choir into my schedule this year, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have still done choir. I've gone to multiple band contests, had many concerts. I've had solos in choir concerts and I've had many choir competitions. I've also been in many competition acts for my school and also just productions for the general audience. I do really well in the band field. The choir field, not so much, but I still enjoy it, but I couldn't even do it this year anyways. And drama, I am absolutely thriving. In fact, I got the main role in our fall production. That's insane. So you're looking at a pretty well-rounded fine arts student right here. But here's my problem with being a fine arts student in a school that really likes to support sports. We don't have that big of a budget, and not a lot of people come to support us, unfortunately. See, maybe this wouldn't be a big problem at a big school because, there's so many people involved in it and word gets around and they have the budget and stuff like that. But we don't have that. Our drama group, I don't think consists of more than like 35 people. It's really sad, honestly. I'm not saying that I don't love everybody in that group, but I really wish I had a bigger group of people and we could do more stuff. Our choir had maybe like 35 people at its prime, which was my freshman year, and those numbers have since decreased, unfortunately. Our band has like 40 people in it, and our drama crew has maybe 25, 30. I don't think it's 30. I think it's like 20 or 25. So, not a very big crew. And with a very little crew and very little budget, there's very little that you can do. See, the thing is that sports get new jerseys like every other year. Maybe not every other year, but they get new jerseys, it seems like a lot. They're always promoting the sports. There's always people going to the games. Overall, it's just a bigger program and it's more advertised and more people like it. And then there's us fine arts students. A lot of our instruments need updates, but we cannot afford it at all. When we hold concerts, there's people there, but there's never a lot, unfortunately. And when we play pep band for basketball games and stuff like that, there's hardly any appreciation for that either. There's nothing we can really change about the choir program other than just get a really, really good teacher, but there's not enough appreciation for choir too. In fact, there's even less appreciation for that. And for drama, we don't even have our own stage. We have to go over to the college next door and use their stage for us to perform. We always spend like half of our budget on buying the show, and the other half is used for like costumes and maybe some prop stuff if we need it. But other than that, we don't have that much money. And again, with the appreciation part of it, there's always people that come, but it's never as much as a basketball game. And in fact, I don't even see a lot of people at our own school going. It's always just our close friends that go and our family. And of course, general audience, but no students at the school. I've gone to many basketball games while I've been here, but I haven't seen many of them at our productions. It really makes me sad because we put a lot of effort into doing these rehearsals and running things over and over again so that they're perfect, and then nobody at our school comes to appreciate it. It's also poorly advertised because nobody cares about it. I think the problem is that there's a bad stereotype around theater kids, around band kids, around choir kids. They all think that we're annoying and just like too much for people, which I mean can be true sometimes, but we can still act civilized. They don't think that our interests are like normal. Like they really just don't understand how much time and effort we put into all this stuff. Like it's normal for the boys and the girls to rave about how they did at the game and how poorly they did and how hard they're working in practice. But the minute that a theater kid or a band kid opens up about how much work they're putting into this music they're doing or how much effort they're putting into acting and memorizing their lines, it sounds cheesy. And again, it might not be like this in every school, but in my school that's still relatively small and full of sports kids, it gets annoying. And also the fact that there's the stereotype that everybody in the fine arts is like gay somehow. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being gay. I'm just saying that's simply not true. There was a small rumor about me that I was lesbian and that I was using my boyfriend as a cover up. I get it. Women are hot and I'm in theater and all that stuff, but I'm not using my boyfriend as a cover up and I'm not lesbian. I don't know. I joked about it. I thought it was really funny. But there's so much of that stuff that's just not true. Basically, what it is that they can't appreciate us because we're not in sports. Now, I could be the same way and be like, oh, I don't get what you guys are doing in these sports. It seems stupid. You're just shooting a ball in a hoop and you're like, woo. But I'm not like that because I was actually in sports once upon a time. You see, at my old school, since the fine arts programs were just so poor, I was in sports because that was the more well-funded program. I did basketball and I did volleyball for 4 years. In fact, when I moved to my new school, I did volleyball that year too, and I hated every second of it. So I know how much work goes into these sports and what they're doing in practices, and it's a lot of self-motivation and teamwork and all that stuff. So I can relate to them on a personal level. But to think that we don't do the same thing even though we're fine arts students is like it's very frustrating to say the least. Now, if I want to make any point in this video, is that you should appreciate what every student is doing because they're all putting in some sort of work to accomplish something. Obviously in sports, they're working on their plays and like what positions they're playing and working on their teamwork and doing all this stuff, but so is every other program. If you talk to a choir student, they're working hard on memorizing like their certain part or their solo that they have, or they're working on how to project their voice, how to fix their tone, how to create their vibrato. In band, it's how you sound together as a whole, learning your individual part, which can be very challenging sometimes, especially if you are a clarinet player like me. They're working on balance and blend, sounding good together, all of this stuff. Drama is a way different story because there's a huge level of dedication and time and effort put into that. Honestly, I feel like sometimes it's more than people that are in sports. We take time not only in rehearsal, but outside of rehearsal to memorize our stuff, to practice our blocking, to memorize our lines, get our costumes together, get our makeup together, figure out how we want to do our hair, not to mention the set building, the set painting, the light programming, the working on the sound, all of this stuff. And especially if it's a musical, you're also working on singing and dance choreography. It's hard work and it seems like nobody appreciates it, at least not in my school. So if you're one of those people that has this stereotype in their head that theater kids are weird and they just don't work hard, I want you to go watch one of their productions and ask yourself if you would be able to do that, because there's so much passion put into this, and clearly it's something that all of those people on stage care about a lot, and they care about it enough to show it to you. You have more than enough people that come to your basketball games. Why not come to one of our productions? Again, this probably isn't all schools. It might even just be my school and their small-mindedness. But at the end of the day, everyone is putting in a lot of effort. It just is different types of effort in different aspects. I just want everyone to be proud of each other and to appreciate each other and not just stick to what they know, because every extracurricular that goes on in school is really cool in its own way, and it would be amazing if that support was everywhere around the school and not just in certain areas like basketball. And honestly, I just want to perform for people at my school so that they know how hard I've been working these past months. And really, that's the moral of this whole video. Go support other things. It's fun. You might learn something new. I might not understand every single sports term, but it is still fun to go watch games sometimes. Plus, fine arts performances are much more rare, so I feel like you could maybe take one day to appreciate the fine arts and what they have to offer, because I think it's pretty cool. I love performing my music, I love singing music, and I love performing on stage if it means I get to scream in people's faces on stage. In fact, let me just show a quick montage of clips that my mom got while I was performing in November. It is seriously so fun just going insane on stage in front of people. I love it. Well, I think that has been all for this floor talk today. I hope you're able to enjoy this video and to relate to at least one thing. Otherwise, I hope you just enjoyed me ranting on forever. This has been floor talk number 2, and I hope I can see you in the next video. I still don't know how to format an outro. What am I supposed to say? I don't know. I'm just gonna end the video here.